Today is Sunday, July 15th, 2012. I installed the newest version of the Mac operating system X10.8, code name Mountain Lion, on the evening of July 10th. Here you can see OX10 version 10.8. I have been using it now for 5 days. I posted a previous video to give you a general overview of some of the new features, like the new schedule, which is kind of nice, and some of the other features. Um, my general impression has not changed over the past 5 days. Um, the major changes are greater integration with the iCloud services, which actually works very, very well. Text edit is now part of iCloud, so you can open documents in iCloud from text edit, which is really, you can see on my Mac, and you can look there on iCloud. That's really, really nice. And before that, you would need to have your own software to do that. I've been using a program called Byword on my Mac and my iPad too to accomplish the same things. Um, that integration between the Mac and iCloud is very, very useful, particularly if you're working with documents and you're going back and forth between your Mac and another Mac, or your Mac and your iPad, or even your iPhone or iPod Touch. But I use the iPad and my Mac a lot with my work, so I find that to be very, very useful. The second thing I noticed about the new operating system is that it's much more of a gated community, a closed ecosystem. The default settings, as I mentioned before, are that if you want to download software, the program won't let you download unless the software comes from the App Store, and you can change that. You can change so that is different, and says Mac App Store allow application downloads from Mac App Store, from App Store and identified developers. Those are Mac developers that Mac approves, or from anywhere. And I mentioned this before. That, I think, is actually a good idea because it helps new users. I mean, anybody who is a geek can very easily turn that off and put on whatever programs they want to. But somebody who is new to the ecosystem, first coming to the Mac, might have some concerns, particularly because we don't need to use antivirus software on a Mac. So they may have some concerns, and that would allay their concerns. Another thing I noticed was that there is, and I didn't mention this in the first video, is that there is a direct speech to text application, kind of similar to what we get from Dragon, dictation and speech, that can work within the the operating system. So I'm not sure, since I'm recording this with ScreenFlow, whether this will work with ScreenFlow, but we can try a new document and see what happens. Let us see if the text to dictation will work. I'm not seeing the bubble. Usually there's a pop-up little bubble that comes up on the dictation, but it's not popping up right now. I assume that's because my mic is using another source, but it could be because it's not showing the proper microphone. So I'm not clear, but it does work, and I have selected it. But that's something that you can use. Um, I mentioned that some programs tended not to work. One of them is the Dragon Express from the Mac App Store, and I'm sure they'll have an update. But Dragon Dictate, the full program, works fine. And Dragon Express had some problems anyway. So if you use an application launcher like LaunchBar, or you see I use Alfred, Dragon Express conflicts with those, and that's one of the things that they really need to work on in that software. I have found absolutely no reliability problems whatsoever with Mountain Lion. I mean, I've gone through Leopard, Snow Leopard, Lion, and now Mountain Lion. I've really worked it. I've tried all sorts of things. I mean, there are a couple of programs like Total Finder, which is an addition to Finder, which doesn't work. But I had a long time ago, we've been using Pathfinder, and Pathfinder 6.0 works absolutely perfectly. And it has tab browsing just like Total Finder. So I mean, you see tabs right here. You can use that if you want to use another one. There's supposed to be an update to Total Finder next week that will address that problem. Um, Fantastical initially I thought didn't work. There was some issues with it, but I found that that can work. But again, because of the notification center, and Sparrow works with the notification center as well as does Mail. I'm not a big fan of the Mac Mail app. I generally use Postbox, but for my work. But Postbox doesn't work with the notification center, but it has its own notifications, so it's not really of an issue. It'll let you know. I have mine set to have HAL from 2001: A Space Odyssey telling me that you have a message, so it's not an issue for me. But the stability of Mountain Lion 10.8 has been rock solid. This is the Golden Master, once again, the Golden Master build, and it has been solid. Programs launch quickly. Let's take a look at a really intense program. Let's see, Final Cut Pro, and let's see the launch time. I haven't launched it, and I think once since the system was updated to Mountain Lion, and you see it launching the current version 10.05, and it's coming up quickly. There it is. It's almost completely launched. So as you can see, if it can launch this program, which is a very heavy duty program, that quickly, there it is. Nothing going on in it right now, but if it can launch that program, there's no problem. If you use Word, I try not to use Word. I prefer Pages, but if you use Word, I mean, it's not a big deal. It'll launch that very quickly. Excel, any of the other programs that you might want to use. So it's not, I don't see any difference in terms of slowdown or speed between Lion and Mountain Lion, none whatsoever. It just seems that this system, Mountain Lion, is rock style solid stable, and that's the Golden Master, which is generally the release. I mean, I use Hazel, no problems with Hazel whatsoever running this system, and none of my programs. The only ones I had any issues with were Total Finder and Dragon Express. And Total Finder, on their blog, they already said that they're going to. The developer said he's going to update it this coming week. And Nuance, who puts out Dragon Express, I'm sure they're going to get their act together. But Dragon Dictate already works fine. So that's about it. Not much more to add. I just think it's a rock solid operating system. There are not a lot of new changes. The biggest one, of course, is messages, which is like iMessage on your iOS device. It's wonderful. It also supports your AIM, and if you have any other services, like I have Bonjour, and I had it hooked up so I could use MS Messenger with it, which I really never use anymore. Once iMessage came out, the rest of them just dropped. It's not a problem. You can use these services. So I think you'll enjoy it. If you have any hesitation with upgrading, if you have a white MacBook, you need to be early 2009. The rest of them, the aluminum MacBook and the MacBook Pros and iMacs, I believe, is 2008 on forward. But you can go onto the Mac website and make sure. Alrighty, that's about it for my follow-up on OX 10.8, Apple's Mountain Lion. It should be out by around the 26th of July, according to rumors.